Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the What a Juice channel, and welcome back to another Madden 24 video. Today starts the first official run of 10-year rebuilds on Madden 24. Obviously, we've been doing a lot of them towards the end of the Madden 23 cycle. We're still continuing the Tennessee Titans one. That'll be the final one for Madden 23. But this one we do every single year. It is my favorite team, the New England Patriots, and normally I wouldn't have to do a 10-year rebuild for the Patriots, but the past couple of seasons, we all know, I know, even though some of the Patriots fans that live in Boston and Foxborough area, they may seem a little bit more delusional. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. They think this team is going to be good. I've spoken about this plenty of times. I don't think this team in 2023 is going to be good at all. I think we probably win 6-7 games, miss out on the playoffs. I think that's the ceiling for this team this year. I just don't think this team is any good. We're definitely not much better than we were last year. Yeah, we brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, and we can see that here on the adjust the lineup thing. We brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, and we brought in Zeke Elliott in free agency. What is Zeke Elliott gonna do that Ramondre Stevenson can't do, or what is Juju Smith-Schuster gonna do that Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne can't do? Like, it's just, it doesn't seem like much variation. We brought in Mike Gesicki. That's a fine upgrade of Hunter Henry, but they're about the same player. Gesicki's a little bit more athletic, bit of a better pass-catching tight end. The offensive line gets hurt all the time. Trent Brown gets a false start penalty every single game. I don't know. This team is just not very good. Mac Jones, is he the guy? I don't know. We did draft a very good young corner in Christian Gonzalez, who I do think has got a bright future ahead of him. I'm not totally down on my team, trust me. Josh Uche is a very good young pass rushing linebacker. Matt Judon is good. I do like Matt Judon. Kyle Duggar obviously is a stud, strong safety. Jabril Peppers they brought in as a free safety. He'll be a fine addition. I don't think he's going to be anything special. He was never anything special in any other place, so why would he be any different? He'll probably be a normal safety for the Patriots. The defensive line just has no pass rush. I mean, we've got Lawrence Guy, Dietrich Wise, who is an okay to mediocre defensive lineman. Godshaw and Davis are fine. Barmore never really has turned into anything as of right now. I had high hopes for Barmore when he first got drafted because I thought he had a lot of potential, but he just never lived up to it at this point. And then we drafted Keon White this year in, I want to say, the third round, or was it the second round? I don't really remember, but out of Georgia Tech, he's mean-mugging everybody. I do like Keon White, and I think he could be a special player, but he's still super young, and in Madden, he's only a 69 overall. Nice. So he's got a lot to develop in this 10-year rebuild. I do think that in terms of going away from real life, in terms of this 10-year rebuild, I think that we should try to build around Keon White, Christian Gonzalez, probably a little bit of Josh Uche and Kyle Duggar. Hopefully Josh Uche develops a little bit more. And then on the offensive side of things, it's a weird story because we can really build around Michael Wenyu and Cole Strange, but other than that, this team is very old in terms of Madden. The development traits are not going to really be there. I know a lot of guys have star, but a lot of these guys are a little bit older. Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker, I think, in their 20s or 30s, or their late 20s, 30s. Devontae Parker is 30 years old, and I think Kendrick Bourne's 28 or 29. Let me quickly check. Is he 28 or 29? He is 28. Okay, so these guys are a little bit older. I think Juju's only like 26, maybe. Is he 26 or 27? He's 26. So Juju's still got a little room to develop, not much in terms of Madden. And then obviously we've got the Mac Jones question. We've done previous 10-year rebuilds with the Patriots in the past couple of years of Madden. I think this is the third year I've done the 10-year rebuild for the Patriots. And in both of those series, we have not been able to trust Mac Jones to get the job done. Every time we've won a Super Bowl, it has been after we've gotten rid of Mac Jones. He's never really developed into anything in Madden, at least not on our team. Last year, I'm pretty sure he won a Super Bowl with the Commanders when we traded him away. But we are going to ride with him. I do think for at least a couple of seasons, we're going to give Mac Jones the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he'll turn into something else in Madden 24. I don't know. Maybe his development has been changed. This guy, though, I have high hopes for. I know he's 24 years old. He's normal development. But Malik Cunningham, 87 throw power, 88 speed, 89 acceleration, 89 agility, out of Louisville. A lot of comparisons have been already given to him about him and Lamar Jackson. Now, he is 24 years old, and Lamar Jackson, I think, is 26 at this point. So Lamar's been in the league for a while. That's kind of crazy. But there has been a lot of comparisons. They both went to Louisville. They both play a similar style of quarterback. And it just so happens that Malik Cunningham is an undrafted rookie out of Louisville and is a 61 overall. But I think if we can get him on a development plan and we can get him some XP quickly, we could move him up the ladder and maybe he's our quarterback. I don't know, but I do want to test it out since this is kind of an experiment. I do believe that I can win at least one Super Bowl with this Patriots team in the next 10 years. So I kind of wanted to have like a little side project of getting Malik Cunningham up to like a 70, maybe even a 75, up to around where Mac Jones is, and maybe he becomes our starter. I don't know. But this is what the team looks like. I've given my thoughts on what the real-life Patriots are going to do, or what I think the real-life Patriots are going to do. But this is year one of the 10-year rebuild of Madden 24. Now remember, the 10-year rebuilds aren't coming back for Madden 24 until the end of the cycle, towards the end of the cycle. So we're talking like June, July, August of 2024, maybe even May, depending on where the channel is at that point. Kind of similar to how they came back for Madden 23 towards the end of the Madden 23 cycle this past year. But as we do for every 10-year rebuild at the start, we got to set our season goal. And I think that we can win we can get 7 games. I think we can win 7 games this year. I'm not going to hold it to that because I don't know. This team I think is good enough. We could change playbooks. I have noticed, I've watched a lot of Madden 24 simulations so far since the game has been out, and the one thing that I've noticed is that playbooks are still very overpowered. So, Cowboys playbook, unbelievably overpowered. Almost every simulation has the Cowboys in the first couple of years winning a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott wins MVP. So, we got to keep that in mind. Chiefs, obviously, still very overpowered. Tampa Bay, I'm pretty sure, is still slightly overpowered. The Ravens, I think, for running quarterbacks is still very overpowered. So we got to keep those in mind for later in the rebuild. I'm going to stick with the Patriots playbook for the first couple of years, just to kind of get a baseline for how everybody's performing. And then later on, we can switch to probably the Cowboys playbook, because that's what I've seen has been the most dominant for Madden 24, at least in the early stages. Now, I did download an early draft class for Madden or for 2024, and usually we do this one per 10-year rebuild. We do the most recent draft class. Now I could change this again because I think there is a more up-to-date version, and I know the game just came out and we haven't even started the season technically. So I do want to go and maybe edit this quick. No, I don't want to. Okay, there we go. I thought I was gonna have to edit the players first. But if I download this one or if I import this one, it could be a little bit more up-to-date. Probably not too much more up-to-date, but yeah, it looks like it is slightly more up-to-date. But I did want to have like Marvin Harrison and Caleb Williams, all those guys in there. So, but then after this, for the rest of the 9 years, we will have auto-generated guys. So that's everything we need to go over for year number 1, at least the beginning of year number 1. I will simulate to the midseason mark, see how this team does, and we can assess the situation from there. I'll see you guys at the midseason mark. We've made it to the midseason mark, week number 8, and we currently sit at 3-4, which is kind of where I expected us to be for this first season. I didn't expect us to be great. I didn't expect us to be awful. I kind of expected us to be mid, and that's exactly what we are right now. Maybe we can have a change of heart towards the end of the season and win a couple more games and sneak in as the final wildcard team. I highly doubt that, but it's a possibility. As for teams, or as for players that need new contracts headed into next season, Michael Onwenu, Kyle Duggar, Josh Uche. Okay, so there's definitely some guys that we certainly want to bring back, and that starts with Uche, Duggar, and Onwenu, because they're all super young. Well, Kyle Duggar's 27 now, but they're all pretty young, and they all kind of want to be here. At least these guys absolutely want to be here. Definitely Michael Wenyu. He is probably going to be our guard of the future of this entire 10-year rebuild. So he wants to be here, so we might be able to get him on a slightly cheaper contract. That's still pretty expensive for a guard, but he is coming back, and we've got $90 million in the bank. Let's go get Kyle Duggar re-signed on a 4-year deal, and he wants to be here, so we don't have to pay him super expensive. And he's coming back too for 4 more seasons. Perfect. $79 million. Might as well re-sign Uche to a 5-year deal and pay him about that much, and he says that's perfect. He's coming back, so we are spending a little bit of cash, bringing these guys back, a little bit of cash, but these guys are coming back. Gesicki is an interesting one. So is Hunter Henry. We obviously got to bring one of them back because we need a number 1 tight end. Trent Brown I might trade, mainly because he's 30. Kendrick Bourne's interesting. Miles Bryant's still super young, coming off that rookie deal. Everybody else, oh, there's Mac Jones. We can pick up his 5th-year option, though. We probably will do that. We'll probably pick up his 5th year. Or, you know what we might do? We might sign him to a cheaper contract, because if he's actually a 75 overall right now. I thought he went up a little bit. But if we can sign him to a long-term contract that's cheaper over the long term, then that would be a lot better than waiting until maybe he blossoms, and then he's going to want a max extension. So that could be an idea, but we can't pick up his option until the end of the season, so we'll have to figure that out. But we are probably going to trade Trent Brown this offseason. Maybe even trade Kendrick Bourne. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I probably should re-sign Miles Bryant. I know he's 25 and only a 71, but I do think he's a valuable backup corner. So maybe a 2-year deal, he's going to come back. Okay, that's not expensive at all. That's $65 million in the bank. These guys want the exact same contract, so it's basically just a thing of who do we want more, and I think we want Gesicki because he's a year younger and he has probably a little bit more room to develop. So if we can get him on a cheaper deal, and he wants to be here more than Hunter Henry does, so he's coming back 5 more years of Mike Gesicki at least, and we can trade that contract easily. So we sit at $57 million, and we have a couple guys that we're not sure about in Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry, and then obviously we're going to trade Trent Brown at the end of the season. So we'll figure out what to do there. But that is it for the mid-season kind of task that we need to do. We don't need to really focus on the scouting because that is for the end of the season when we can focus on that. And I don't think anything has really changed. We're not going to be bad enough to be able to get a top quarterback, I don't think, like Drake May or Caleb Williams. And I don't think we're going to be bad enough to get Marvin Harrison. So it's just going to be a game of where do we sit. I don't know. We'll find out when we simulate to the end of the season. We're going to simulate to the playoffs. Do I think we'll be there? No, but we'll still simulate there and see what happens. I'll see you guys then. We've made it to the playoffs, and as I predicted, we're not a part of the playoffs, but we did complete our goal. We did win 7 games exactly. So kind of where I expected us to be. Not good, but not bad either. We're kind of just average. And if we take a look at the stats on the season, I'm expecting to see some kind of average numbers for Mac Jones and for this offense. So 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. I really don't think that the Patriots playbook is very good for Mac Jones. I think that if we change to the Cowboy playbook, that could really, really help him out because I think he could utilize Dak Prescott's offensive playbook better than what Bill Belichick's playbook is. So not a very good season from Mac, but not too surprising. Zeke actually was the starter over Ramondre Stevenson because he's just a higher overall, and he had 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns, but he's in his 30s, and he's going to regress. So we might be able to get 1, maybe 2 more seasons squeezed out of Zeke, but it's not going to be much more than that before he starts to become just a waste of space. Ramondre probably is going to be the guy until we see what's in free agency. Maybe there's a better running back in free agency at some point. I don't know, or maybe the draft. I have no idea. Mac Jones also got a few rushing yards as well. Juju, 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. He was the main go-to guy for Mac. Kendrick Bourne had 847 and 6 touchdowns in his contract season. Gesicki, we just re-signed him, 753 and 3, but tight ends in the Patriot playbook never really goes off unless your name is Rob Gronkowski. So 753 and 3 touchdowns for Gesicki, 637 and 2 for Devontae Parker. Even Zeke had a touchdown. And then defensively, we had 106 tackles for Juwan Bentley, which I'm not surprised by. He usually does well in simulation. 93 for the rookie. I'm hoping he's in Rookie of the Year contention, but with no interceptions and a half a sack, I don't think that's going to be the case. So we'll just have to see. I'm guessing his just start development, really. Kyle Duggar had 75 tackles. Jabril Peppers had 73. Tackle for loss leader is Lawrence Guy with 18. Devon Godshow, I think it's Gashow, I don't know. 13 tackles for loss. Judon had 11. Sacks was Judon with 8. 5.5 for Dietrich Wise, 3 for Barmore. See, just the production, 27 tackles. I know he was down to the depth chart, but just not a whole lot of production from Barmore. 3 interceptions for Adrian Phillips and for Marcus Jones, who I do have a high hopes for, not only as a kick returner, but as a number one, or not a number one corner, but as a corner. And then Bentley and Jonathan Jones had 1 each. So those are the numbers for the team this year, for the individual players. And we get to see who is going to be in the Super Bowl. I bet it's going to be the Cowboys. If I had to put some money on it, I would bet that it is the Dallas Boys as the NFC representative, unless they get upset by somebody, but I highly doubt it in year number 1. It's almost always Dallas. And I think we might jump up the schedule a little bit. We might switch to Dallas playbook, at least on offense, for year number 2, just to kind of show, and hey, look, Dallas is in the playoffs. They're in the Super Bowl against the Bengals. So Joe Burrow versus Dak Prescott. I would guess that Dak is going to win the Super Bowl and be Super Bowl MVP. But I guess we'll find out here. Do they beat the Bengals, or do the Bengals get their first championship? They do! Cincinnati and Joe Burrow get their first championship. Congratulations to them. They were a play away, really, in the Super Bowl against the Rams. Jamar Chase was wide open, butt naked, but the offense line could not give Joe Burrow any time. So season recap, we got about $63.5 million in cap room. That's nice. Jermaine Pratt is the Super Bowl MVP for the Bengals. Dak does win regular season MVP. No surprise there. That Cowboys playbook is very overpowered in Madden 24. Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald, Offense and Defense Player of the Year. And then it's Bijan and Willie Anderson Jr. for Offense and Defense Rookie of the Year. 2 guys that I would expect to win it in real life. Certainly Bijan, I could definitely see winning Offensive Rookie of the Year in real life. But now we get to the good stuff. Now we simulate to the re-sign period where we have to figure out what we do with some of those guys that we didn't decide on at the mid-season mark. What do we do with Hunter Henry? What do we do with Kendrick Bourne? We're probably trading Trent Brown. So we have to figure out who plays left tackle. We got a lot of decisions to make here. But first, I don't want to forget, let's go to the schemes and change our playbook to the Dallas playbook to start out hot next season, next episode. If I can find it, it is right there. All right, and then we'll adjust the schemes when we have our team officially ready for year number 2. I am going to spend my staff points prior to next episode, so we're ready to go. But here we go. Negotiations. Who needs a new contract? We already know. What do we do with these guys? Here's Mac Jones. Do we accept the option? Do we have the chance? Okay, I see it down in the corner. It says reject. I was going to say, do we have the chance to reject it? So Mac Jones wants about $30 million, but if we accept his option, if I just click this, will it say, okay, it's going to confirm it? I was hoping it would tell me what the option was going to be contract-wise, but I guess it's not a franchise tag. So we could reject it and then pay him the money. I don't know what to do. Everybody else we don't need. We don't need Riley Reed. We don't need Carl Davis. We don't need Anthony Ferkser. Those are just role players that we can sign at any point. Anthony Jennings is not really a needle mover. Kendrick Bourne... Maybe we trade Kendrick Bourne. I do like Kendrick Bourne in real life, personally. I think he's a very good backup wide receiver. He's definitely not a number 1, but he's a good number 2 or 3. Trent Brown we're trading. Hunter Henry, he dropped an overall. He's a year older. He's kind of expensive. I think we probably trade Hunter Henry too. And then what do we do with Mac? Do we reject? Rejecting the 5th-year option will result in the player having 1 more season remaining on the contract that can be re-signed as normal next season. I'm going to reject Mac Jones's contract. We will pick it up next season, or we will negotiate with him next season, or we will trade him. We will figure out what to do with Mac at some point. I don't know what to do with him, but he's going to be our quarterback for next season. Maybe he turns out to be something. I don't know. But we got to get to trading these 3 guys. So we got Hunter Henry, Trent Brown, and Kendrick Bourne, who all need to be moved before we simulate. So let's do that right away. Let's see who's up first. It is going to be, we have 2 years left on Zeke as well. We have, here it's Trent Brown. Perfect. So do we get any offers on Trent? We do, but they're not very good offers. We can snag some draft picks. Brian Robinson Jr., that could be the replacement for Zeke. There's Tank Bigsby, Tutu Atwell, Isaac Siamalu. What if I pair Trent Brown with a Hunter Henry or a Kendrick Bourne? What about if I pair him with Kendrick Bourne? What do we get? What do we get? We get slightly better options. Still nothing amazing. Tyjae Spears, Terrace Marshall, Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye could be an interesting player. I don't really know what his contract looks like. Jartavius Martin, the rookie from Illinois. Do we just like value draft picks? I mean, draft picks aren't really that. The draft picks we're getting offered aren't that crazy. I think I might do this Kwity Paye deal. I don't know what his contract looks like, but I think that could be a good piece for us. And then we go to tight end, and we go for Hunter Henry. Very expensive to the cap hit. What is he getting offered? There's Brian Robinson Jr. Not a whole lot different than what those two guys were offering. What if I throw a draft pick in there? What about if I pair Gesicki? We have 9th pick, by the way. That's pretty good. So a top 10 pick. What about if I pair Gesicki with a next year 2? What does that get? Does that bump the value up a little bit? There's BJ Ojolari, Shaq Leonard, who is older at this point, Montez Sweat, J-Mo. Oh, okay. So we could have a wide receiver right there. Oh. Do we go with Shaq? That'd be trading twice at the Colts. I don't know if I want to do that. I think if we wanted Shaq Leonard, we could get him pretty easily. I want J-Mo. Give me Jameson Williams. We get a 6 and a 7, I think, at some point. But that is a nice wide receiver to pair alongside Mac Jones. Give him another option. That should help us out. So if we go to just the lineups now, we traded away all 3 of those guys that we weren't sure about. Now, if we go to the receivers, he only has star development. Juju actually went up to superstar. Good for him. We do need right tackle, left tackle, so that is a big issue. And I do want to keep an eye on Tyquan Thornton as well. I want to make sure that he turns into something. So where's Jameson Williams? I didn't see him on here. Why is he not? Where's J-Mo? Hold on. Where is... Okay, I moved Juju to number 2. I didn't want to do that. We're going to have to go to the actual depth chart to see him. Where is Jameson Williams? Is he injured? Did I trade for an injured guy? That could be a possibility. He is not injured, so he's just not existent right now. I could just do order best lineup, but let me see where he's at. Let me do a little bit of investigating. Let me do a little bit of juice investigation. And I will just move Malik Cunningham to the number 2 receiver. Sorry, Zappy, but it's time for Malik Cunningham to be the number 2. So there he is. There's Jameson Williams. So we'll just move him up the order past everybody else. He will pass Tyquan Thornton. He will pass even Devontae Parker. And number 2 receiver alongside Juju is J-Mo. Perfect. Now we can go into free agency. We can look for offensive linemen. And we can look for probably some defensive linemen, I would have to say, too. Maybe even a linebacker, a middle linebacker. So if we go to free agency, we have about $60 million. Is that what that said? $60 million in available money? 58. Okay, perfect. $58 million is nice to work with. There's a couple receivers, but they're all a little bit older at this point, so I'm going to stay away from them. Christian Wilkins is very interesting. I do like the sound of that. And then if we go to quarterbacks, there's nobody here that I'm interested in. Running backs, we could bring Damian Harris back, but I don't really want to do that. Then we go to receivers. They're the normal guys that we just saw, although Calvin Ridley would be interesting. Pair him with Juju and J-Mo, that could be good, but he doesn't want to be here, so we had to overpay for him. Although, does he have anybody offered him? He has 4 teams up, so we'd have to really overpay. Don't want to do that. Tight end, we probably do need to bring a backup tight end, and maybe Jonnu, we could bring him back. That could be good. So Taylor Lewan is here. So is Isaiah Wynn. Do we just go back to the well and get Isaiah Wynn back? Because we do need tackles on either side. And the Mekhi Becton. Yes, sir. I'm paying. I think that's going to be my big fish. I think that's going to be my big fish for this free agency period. We're battling with like 6 other teams, so we are gonna have to slightly overpay unless they're trying to underpay him. We are not even in the top. Wow, so they are severely overpaying the other teams in the bidding war. So I will give him a 4-year deal, and we will overpay. Because Mekhi Becton at 25, superstar development, 77 overall, can certainly turn into an 80 plus if he's in the right system and the morale's going up. So if we give him like that, that should put us on the board, hopefully. And it does not. I can't pay much more than that. I don't know what the Steelers, Texans, Titans, and Jets are offering, but I can't pay much more than what we just offered him. So let's go back to left tackle and let's just offer Isaiah Wynn. He doesn't have anybody offering him. He wants to be here again for some reason. I don't know why. We traded him away. And then we will lower his bonus a little bit just so we're not paying him crazy amounts of money. And we'll see if he accepts that. I don't know if he will or not. Taylor Lewan also has nobody offering him. Then we go to the defensive side of things. Michael Pierce is here. DJ Jones, not really interested. Christian Wilkins is probably at the top of my list. Middle linebackers. I like Devin White, and he doesn't have anybody interested in him. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Corners, there's not really anybody that I want. Safeties, same deal. Okay, so let's go and offer Christian Wilkins and Devin White and see if we can get either one, maybe both of these guys. But we are going to have to battle against some other teams as well for Christian Wilkins. No surprise there. And he's going to be a lot of money. Do we even want to do that? We are not in the Texans are going crazy. So we're going to withdraw that offer. We're going to save our money on Christian Wilkins. It's not worth it for that. But we might be able to snag Devin White because he has nobody offering him. So we can get him on a 3-year deal, lower that slightly. Maybe he'll accept that. I don't know. We've offered 3 guys. Let's go to our targeted. We got Devin White, Isaiah Wynn, and Mekhi Becton. I don't think we're going to get Mekhi Becton. We will move forward, and we did get Mekhi Becton. That's huge. That's really, really huge. So now we are still in the top half of Isaiah Wynn, but we are battling with the Minnesota Vikings for Devin White. We'll let it ride. Devin White signed somewhere. It's not with us. He signed with the Vikings. Man, that's tough. Okay, but now we got Isaiah Wynn, and he didn't sign with us. And we are out of our evaluation periods. Oh, man, I thought Devin White was going to pick us. Really, I did. But he chose the Vikings. They must have gave him a better situation. I don't know. But we'll simulate to free agency period number 2. I don't know if Isaiah Wynn's going to sign with us or not. It'd be nice to have a right tackle that we could at least trust for some point, for somewhat, in his overall at least. Maybe not his actual on the field skill, but having that top 10 pick is going to be pretty good too. We could really get a nice player. Amari Cooper went to the Commanders. Let's see. We're still targeting Isaiah Wynn. We're going to use our evaluation period. He signed with us. He's back with us for 2 more seasons. So we got our tackles. We don't have to worry about them in the draft, at least not this draft. And we still have a little bit of money, so that's good. I think not going after Christian Wilkins is going to end up being a good move. So now our tackles, if we just go over here and generate best lineup, we will confirm that. And Becton's going to play right tackle, I guess. Okay, I don't care. As long as we just have tackles, I don't care. So the offensive line looks a lot better now. I forgot tight end. That's right. We need to get a backup tight end before we leave free agency. Don't want to forget about that. So let's go and sign a backup tight end, and then we can simulate to the draft, basically, because that's the next big thing that we need to focus on. So let's go to tight ends and available. And Jonu's still available. Perfect. So we can go and grab him for a nice little cheap contract. Hopefully nothing too expensive. And we can hopefully see him sign there. Targeted. No. He did sign. He signed with us. Perfect. So we got a backup tight end for Mike Gesicki on what, 2 years? Is that what we just accepted him to? I think so. But now we get to simulate to the draft. Well, technically to the free agent recap so we can do the focus players. But we still have a decent amount of money, and remember, we need to have that money in case we need to decide what do we do with Mac Jones. That's a big question. What do we do with the Mac attack, with the Big Mac, with mac and cheese? Scouting, private workouts, perfect. Although I do kind of want to take a look at the mock draft to kind of see where the board is falling. We know that Marvin Harrison's going to be a stud. We know that Caleb Williams and Drake May are going to be studs. But let's take a look at the mock draft number 5. So the Commanders have the number 1 pick. and they're going to take Caleb Williams. No surprise there. Lions have 2. They'll take Marvin Harrison. Who do they have us taking? They have us taking Michael Irons, a middle linebacker from somewhere, from South Carolina. Is he good enough to be taken? He's got elite speed. Oh, he's a really good athlete. Okay, I like that. And he's got A finesse moves, A play rec. His zone coverage is a B. What's his archetype? He is a field general linebacker. So he's not pass rushing. He's more like a Dante Hightower type in terms of what he's doing. Dante could get to the quarterback, but he's not. That's not his goal. His goal is to keep everybody in line on the defense. So let's go back to our private workouts. We're going to scout Irons so we can know a little bit more about him. Make sure that we know exactly what we're getting into with him if we want to take him. So we're going to put Michael. He's the 4th projected guy on the board. That's very interesting. And we already have him at 80%. And then we'll probably focus on some guys down the board, maybe some offensive linemen, I'd say. Let's focus on some tackles that are maybe down the board a little bit. Hopefully some guys like this could be good. There's a lot of round 1 to 2 guys and just round 1 guys in general who look okay. Maybe they'll fall to the 2nd round. I don't know. What about Dwayne Sanders? 6'7". He's an okay athlete. Nothing too crazy there. He's a good pass blocker, but his run block could be a little bit left to desired. All right. What about Brandon Adams? Is that his name? Yeah, Brandon Adams. 6'5". Not great physically. And not as good as what Dwayne was. Dwayne Saunders. What about Bryce Love? Or Bryce Lowe. Bryce Love's a running back. Bryce Lowe is not as good of I think Dwayne Saunders might be the better of the 3 guys down here at the bottom. So I could definitely scout him a little bit more. And then we know that guards are probably pretty good. So let's go for Bobby Fowler, and then we'll go back up and pick Michael Irons. There we go. Perfect. Confirm. So we'll get a left tackle, a left guard, and then Michael Irons. I really hope that the mock draft stays true and Michael Irons is who we go for, because I think he could be a really good player for us. He's got elite speed for a linebacker, which probably means he's in the mid to high 80s. He could be our Mike linebacker of the rebuild of the 10 years. Now it's time to start. Actually, I want to take a quick look at the players that we scouted before we get into the draft, just so we have a little bit more of a plan. No, not the mock draft. Actually, the first mock draft, I had Michael Irons go number 2. Very interesting. So we have him scouted 100%. We got Michael Irons up to 100%, and his true talent is top 5. Yeah, he looks pretty good. He looks really, really good. He's going to be a stud. I don't know if he's generational, but he's going to be a really stud player. I really hope that he falls to stay true at number 9. Let me just give one quick check to mock draft number 5. And it has him going number 9 to us. I really hope that stays true, because if we lose out on Michael Irons, I'm going to be very upset. I don't think we have any other options. Let's start the draft and hopefully pick our guy. So the Commanders are going to take Caleb Williams. Simulate the pick. They take Williams. He goes number 1. That's probably how it's going to go in real life, too. Marvin Harrison goes 2 to the Lions. Probably how it's going to go in real life. Maybe not to the Lions, but Glenn Jackson goes 3 to the Jags. Cardinals have back-to-back. They take Paul Winter, and they take Doug Hewitt. Then the Broncos are up at 6. They take Lamar Ferguson. So right now we're staying on track. Tampa Bay is up next, and they take Drake May. That's a big pick in the top 10. Then the Vikings are up, and they take Paul Blake. So perfect. We have our guy. Irons is on the table. That is beautiful. We are going to take him. He's a top 5 talent, true talent. And he's going to be our Mike linebacker of the future. Stud finder, baby. Draft a rookie with a hidden dev trait. First one of Madden 24. 90 speed, 93 acceleration, 87 agility. Yeah, this dude is going to be a monster for us in this rebuild. He is going to be an absolute stud. Michael Irons. Maybe even he's an X factor. I don't think he's generational, but I think he could be an X factor. Let's just see a couple more picks before we simulate to our next pick in the 2nd round. See if maybe those offensive linemen go off the board. They'll probably go a little bit later in the draft. Simulate to next user pick. The UI, the menu, feels a little bit slower this year, a little bit laggy. We are into the second round. Pick number 9 again. And Dwayne Saunders is on the table. Perfect. That's exactly who I wanted to take. Let me see if that left guard's still on. I think he was, because he was like day something. Yeah, here's Bobby Fowler. He's still on the table, round 2 to 3. Let me look at Dwayne Saunders a little bit more now that we have him scouted fully. 6'7". He's a great pass blocking tackle. He could be the pairing alongside Mekhi Becton instead of Isaiah Wynn. He looks really, really good. His run block is a little bit bad, but pass blocking looks really good. We're going to take Dwayne Saunders. Only normal development, really? That's shocking. He looks really good. I think he's still going to be a pretty decent overall, but normal development kind of sucks, especially for an offensive lineman. It's a lot harder for offensive linemen to develop when they have normal development. That really hurts us. But I do think he's still going to be a high enough overall. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near Isaiah Wynn. Although Isaiah Wynn's only like a 79, I think. So if we go to guards, is he still on the board? No, he got taken. But we do have this guy, Logan Howell, who is 6'4", with good physicals, okay pass block, and okay run block. He could be an option for us for sure. He could be an option for us. What about centers? Centers don't look too great. Right guards. What about this guy? Jonathan Montague. He's an average athlete, but I think his skills are not as good as the other guard, the Howell guy. And then he got Keegan Canfield. I think we're going to take Logan Howell. Let's take him in the 3rd round, and then I'll let the CPU handle the rest of the picks. He's hidden development, though. 86 strength, 83 acceleration, 73 agility. He looks like a good player. He really does. He looks like a pretty solid player. It just really sucks that the left tackle, Saunders, is normal development, man. I really thought he was going to be hidden. Okay. It is what it is. We simulate to the end of the draft. We see what the CPU gets us. Probably a bunch of crap, but that's okay. Roster fillers, if anything. And I really am curious to see what these overalls are. So let's go to the draft recap and figure out what the overalls are. Come on, give me something good. Give me something good. Irons is a 77. I don't know if that's going to be highest in the class or at the top of the class. It could be. But I do think that Michael Irons is going to be an absolute stud for us. He just looks so good. He's got 90 speed, 83 tackling, 70 block shed, but that's not what his archetype is. He's a guy who's going to be in the middle of the field. He's going to be directing traffic, doing all that kind of stuff. So his awareness is 78. His acceleration is 93. He's going to be flying around the field. This guy is he's a really good player. And then we got the tackles is 71. That sucks, especially with normal development. And then Howell's a 72, but he has hidden. And it's probably star, but still, it's pretty good. They drafted us a corner and a left outside linebacker in the 6th round who are 70s. Do any of them have development traits? Larry Buckhalter has star development, I'm guessing. I'm guessing star, but he has hidden. So that's a sneaky pull. And then what about Alan Ware? No, he's just normal. But hey, a star development or a hidden development corner in the 6th round who's a 70? Who knows? Maybe he turns out to be something. You never know. But let's take a look at the class as a whole. Who was the top of it? I'm guessing it was Marvin Harrison. It looks like it was. Marvin Harrison's an 84. Darian Tongue, corner from Florida State, is an 80. Then you got Peter McDaniels, Doug Hewitt, and then Michael Irons. So he's top 5. Top 5 in the class. Well, tied for top 5 in the class. I'll take it. That's a stud. The true talent was true. The true talent didn't lie to me. And we got a stud middle linebacker. Remember, we're in Cowboy Playbook, so next episode hopefully will go better for us in terms of wins. And I'm excited to see how our rookie does. But let's take one final look at the team before we end the video. See just how good this team is. Where we are at. So we traded for Jamison Williams when we traded away. Was that the Trent Brown and Kendrick Bourne trade? I think it might have been. It looks like we didn't get Johnny. Where's Johnny Smith? I don't know. He's gone somewhere. Johnny Smith's gone somewhere. We still have Zeke and Ramondre. We have, but Zeke is starting to regress. That's what I talked about. He's an 85 this episode. He's going to be an 83 next episode. Mac Jones, hopefully in this Cowboy Playbook, will start to do good. Juju, Devontae Parker and Jamison Williams with Tyquan Thornton. I like it. The offensive line, I'm intrigued by. Very much intrigued by. Actually, you know what? Let me generate best lineup because that might put Juju there, or not Juju, Jonnu. There's Jonnu Smith right there. Perfect. All right, so there's Howell as the backup. Isaiah Wynn will be the guard, or will be the tackle for year number 1, and then or year number 2, I should say. And then on defense, I might want to start Michael Irons in the head of Tavai, just to get him up, get that development going. Christian Barmore, I definitely want Christian Barmore to get a little bit more play time, not as a starter. Actually, you know what? As a starter, sure. Might as well be a starter because he's got that development trait. Might as well use it. Kwity Paye, new addition. Kyle Duggar, Judon's down to star. We got Marcus Jones at star, Jonathan Jones, Christian Gonzalez, and Jack Jones. A lot of Joneses, and they're all star. And then Christian Gonzalez. Let me do generate best lineup for defense too, just to make sure everything's right. Yeah, perfect. Okay, but then I'll switch these guys back, and then have Irons play starter alongside Juwan Bentley. And I think this defense is going to be a little bit more improved. We're still not anywhere near good enough to be a contender, but maybe with the Cowboy playbook, we'll be like overachieving. You never know. But that is going to do it for episode number 1 of the Patriots 10-year rebuild. I'm glad to be on Madden 24. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. A lot more Madden 24 content coming in the near future. If you don't want to miss out, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.